What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr. Now you lot have been requesting a combo for the Sacred Yubel profile I showed you all the other day. Now each of these decks have their own direct combo lines. You've got the Dark Beckoning route, which will get you everything you need for your Sacred Beast, and your Samsara D Lotus that will get you everything you need for your Yubel route. I will put the links in the description below for both of those separate combo videos so you can see exactly what they can do on their own, but this video is specific to show you what the decks can do together, and it's actually very spicy and very fun. So we're going to start off with the brand new card from Legacy of Destruction being Nightmare Throne, and then you need to open up either the Dark Beckoning or the Samsara, which you do actually have access to, each of those at 3. So you're doubling up your usages when you're playing Throne. If you want even more consistency, you could play Map. So make sure you smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. With that out of the way, we're just going to dive head first into this combo and show you what we can do. So you start off by activating Nightmare Throne. You get any one of the missing pieces that you don't have access to. You will then start off by normal summoning your Dark Beckoning Beast, which will give you access to your opening of the Spirit Gates. Your opening of the Spirit Gates will then get you direct access to your Phantasmal Summoning Beast. Now hold this back in your hand, we're going to come to that a little bit later on. You're then going to start operating your Yubel line, so you're going to normal summon down the Samsara D Lotus. You're going to tribute this off. This is going to give you direct access to your Spirit of Yubel, which will in turn get you access to your Nightmare Pain. You will then use Nightmare Pain's effect to tribute off the Spirit of Yubel in order to get you your Eternal Favourite, or Mature Chronicle if you want to go down that route, and that will also allow you to trigger Spirit of Yubel's effect and Nightmare Throne to get you the original Yubel and, of course, Yubel Terra Incarnate. Now at this point, as we have legal targets in the graveyard for our opening the Spirit Gates, you're going to use the effect to discard the Phantasmal Summoning Beast and summon the Phantasmal Summoning Beast back. You will then tribute off the Phantasmal Summoning Beast, and this will give you direct access to any one of your Sacred Beast monsters. Now, if you're going to go on a more defensive board, I would highly advise going for Hamon, as that is the best defensive option for you, because you would special summon it down through the effect of the Phantasmal Summoning Beast to have it in defense, meaning that your opponent is still forced to attack your Yubel, but if they do get rid of Nightmare Pain or Yubel, they are still then forced to attack Hamon. Now, obviously, what you would do is you would move to your end phase, you would bring back the Samsara D Lotus, you would make sure you link off your Yubel Terra Incarnate and your Dark Beckoning Beast so that Terra Incarnate doesn't nuke your own board. Keep that in mind, very important. And that would mean that during your opponent's turn, you can actually use the Eternal Favourite to contact fuse with Yubel if you want to. So that is a much more defensive option minded. We're going to go all out and show you exactly what we can do. So we're going to actually overlay the Hamon and Yubel, as they are both level 10s, to go into the brand new Valdreth, which is going to give you a nice Omni-Negate. Then what you do is you want to link off your Yubel Terra Incarnate and your Dark Beckoning Beast, because you want to make sure you don't self-implode your own board and go into something like an IP Masquerena. Now this is actually quite relevant, which I'll show you when we go through our opponent's turn. Before you end your turn, make sure you banish the Phantasmal Summoning Beast from the graveyard in order to add your Dimension Fusion Destruction. Now this is best held back, so during your next turn you have a crackback for a 4k monster that can also do burn damage, and I'll show you that when we get to it. It also gives you discard fodder should you want to use the fuse effect of Eternal Favourite, but keep in mind at this exact moment in time with this board state, you don't have a Yubel on the board, but if you went down the other route that I was talking about, you would have your guaranteed discard fodder if you needed it. So during your opponent's turn, what you're going to want to do here is during the draw phase, you're going to flip up the Eternal Favourite. You could choose to activate the effect now, or you can do it later on, but the idea is you're going to special summon a Yubel monster that is banished or in a graveyard. Neither player can activate cards or effects when this card is special summoned, but make sure if you do this at Chain Link 2, it dodges that own, so it's kind of good, in order to then trigger the Spirit of Yubel's effect, just to give you additional discard fodder. So this can give you direct access to a second Nightmare Pain, or of course you can go for the Mature Chronicle as well. So you're getting the best of everything you need to, which is really important, and it also puts the attack lock straight back on the board. So then on top of that, what you want to be doing is you're going to continue your play. You can now activate IP Masquerena's effect. This will then link with Spirit of Yubel and itself to get you into an SP Little Knight. Now you can choose to trigger the Nightmare Throne effect because, believe it or not, Nightmare Throne's effect is you get the ability, if a face-up Yubel monster or monsters you control leaves by card effect, which is of course exactly what IP Masquerena is doing, this then gives you the ability to add one of your Yubel monsters that is banished, deck or graveyard to the hand, or special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you could choose to get your Terra Incarnate back on the board. Now it's actually quite important if we do bring back Terra Incarnate, because this will actually help us fuel the Dimension Fusion Destruction during our second turn. So what you want to do here is you want to make sure you're using SP Little Knight. You also want to make sure you're probably going to end up using your Valdreth effect. So let's make sure we get the most out of everything. But when we do get to the end phase, because our opponent has nothing left on the board, they can't attack you or anything like that, you can use Terra Incarnate's effect to finish off your board, which is absolutely fine. Then going to come back to your turn, you're going to draw one card for turn, and now what you've got to remember is you can now activate the Dimension Fusion Destruction, and this is going to allow you to get into your Phantasm Emperor. Now this just needs 3 level 10 monsters, which you will have in the form of Vermon, Yubel and Spirit. Very, very nice. So you can banish all 3 of these to get you access to this, and if a monster comes back from the graveyard, you get to target one monster your opponent controls and burn them for half the damage. Now obviously the chances are if they had a monster left on the board, they would have been forced to attack Terra Incarnate anyway, but worst case scenario, let's say they do, don't also forget to bring back your SP Little Knight. Let's say they do have a monster on the board, just so we can show you the maximum value from this. With the card you've drawn for turn or the Mature Chronicle you've searched, you can activate the Opening of Spirit Gates to discard said card and bring back any monster that has 0/0, which at that exact moment in time, you will have a Samsara D Lotus or a Dark Beckoning Beast in the graveyard. So you'll bring back any of these, you'll be able to trigger the Emperor's effect. This will burn your opponent for even more damage, and then you can start your chain all off again with the Samsara D Lotus. Not to mention that as soon as this tributes itself off to get you into a second Spirit of Yubel, if you were to then activate the Nightmare Pain to get you access into another card, this will then allow you to float the Spirit of Yubel into the Yubel that was banished, wherever it may be. There we go. And you now have the option to either use Eternal Favourite to bring another monster back from the graveyard, or with the Mature Chronicle in the hand, you can use the effect to discard it and then contact fuse your Yubel with as many monsters on the board that you choose to do so to get the final bit of burn damage in, or the final attack damage that you might need, because getting into that fusion monster can clear off your opponent's board and your Emperor can then swing in for 4k direct, finishing it off. And you still have an additional 3 cards in your hand to play around with, and you still have more to be building off the back of it. If you do end up getting into the rest of the Sacred Beast because you open up another Dark Beckoning or anything else, then of course rather than going for your Emperor, you can go in for the Phantasm Furies if you want to as well. So you've got loads of different varieties, which is really, really nice, and you've got the ability to kind of either go down a more controlled reserved route, or you can go into the overlaid route to use all of the new cards. Not to mention that post Battles of Legend, we will have access to the Phantom of Yubel as well. So in the first combo, what you could do is you could spin back your Terra Incarnate once you've linked it off with the SP Little Knight, and this will then allow you to get into your Phantom of Yubel as well. So your end board would be the Phantom of Yubel plus the Valdreth plus the IP Masquerena, and then the ability of Eternal Favourite to bring back any monster. And then when you link off the Yubel with the IP Masquerena, you can then get into a Terra Incarnate as well. So again, the same outcome would happen, that the Terra Incarnate would nuke your board, but that's why you're playing cards that you're going to use up their effects, and then the cards that end up in the graveyard are just going to provide you with more resource to crack back on with the Dimension Fusion during the next turn. Anyway, that is it for the entire combo that is more specific to this combined build. Like I said at the start of the video, I will try and find the original combos for Yubel and the original combos for the Sacred Beast and put them in the comments below or the description below, so you can see exactly what each of those do on their own accords. But hopefully this is in as much depth and detail as possible to show exactly what this deck can do on a very consistent basis. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.